Check, check, mic check. Okay, this video is going to be a breakdown of uh, tape battle that was visible in Rivian on Friday, December 17th at $95. I have a video called Rivian Below IPO Levels Battle on the Tape. That is the trade recording, but this is going to be a breakdown of the actual tape battle that's visible at $95. So let's go ahead and unpause this. And just to set context, Rivian was breaking IPO day levels here on the daily, and intraday I had initiated a short, and it was coming down into those some of those major IPO levels again for the first, second, third time right here. And so what you're going to see here, this is the level 2 box for Rivian, and this is the time and sales on this side. This is the bids. These are the offers. So right now the market is 10 cents by 13 cents, and this size is showing 1,000. Nasdaq's advertising 1,010 cents to buy, and ARCA is advertising 2,000 at 13 cents to sell. And here are the actual time and sales transactions going through. So I'm going to go ahead and unpause this, and what we'll see here is that we come down to, ignore this is from the original video, this text, we come down to this 95 level, and right now it's 4 by 25, so somewhat spready, 20-something cent spread there. And what we're going to see is the offer will come down and press, and we'll see a bunch of red coming through on the time and sales at that 95 bid, and someone's holding that 95 bid. We do have a little bit of size here building up at 95, so there is a buyer there looking to get filled and advertising that they want to get filled. So let's go ahead and play it. And so we see some selling at 1 cent, and we see some red come through on 95 bid. The bid holds. Another attempt here, 95. So you saw this huge string of just size coming up. So there's 100 shares, 200 shares, 100 shares, 200 shares. Between the spread, 200 shares, 100 shares, 200, 100, 200. So just these little small retail type lots coming off, hitting that 95 bid, testing if this size that's being advertised, 4,600 shares in this case on EdgeX, is real, and if this is going to change, update, refresh, reload, drop out, step up, all the different variations. And right now the market got very tight. So it was a 20-cent spread. Now we're at a penny spread. We're 95 by a penny. So this seller, or this NASDAQ seller, has come down and aggressively stepped down and is sitting there at 1 cent and taking anybody who is trying to lift this and holding down here for now. So let me try to say that again. This NASDAQ seller is here at 1 cent and is selling to anybody who wants to try to lift this 1 cent. And this EdgeX buyer is sitting here at the hole and buying anybody who's willing to hit the bid and sell to this 95 seller. So I'm going to unpause it here. More red coming through, more red coming through, and it looked like it had broken through. Okay, I just had to put the video on pause, the recording on pause, because children woke up, a cat was stepping on my keyboard, and one of my best friends just sent me a message saying they're engaged. So a bunch of shit just happened. But where was I? This Rivian. Let me just unpause it and we'll just keep going. I don't remember where I was. So it pops up. So they defended this 95. Okay, you can see the wick right here coming down. They defended this 95. Yeah, it looks like it did drop out for a split second, but then they rebid it straight back. So the buyer is playing a game to see how much selling pressure is willing to come in below this 95 and push. And right now you can see that it wasn't. The seller was not willing to step down and continue selling there. So this is like games between possibly one, maybe it's the same person. That's possible as well, but it could be just one, but more likely two market participants who are trying to test the waters and see what's available. Cat, you gotta chill out. This cat is just upside down trying to lay on the keyboard and the mouse at the same time. So the price did poke through that 95, which means the 95 bid that was buying everything there did did pull for a second, but then it bid right back up, which means either the bid came back and that buyer just smashed and took everything on the offer and basically bid everything back up, or the seller wasn't willing to press down below 95 yet. Let's keep going. So market's 30 by 45. Back to our spread here. I'm just seeing that it has bounced. Just letting it go. Gonna fast forward a little bit here in the 40s, 50s. I'm just gonna fast forward to the next spot so we come back down here. Let me make sure. So, okay, let me back up right here. We come back down, and it looks like it's gonna be just a big flush. Okay, so we just went from 50 cents, and someone just slammed the bid from 50 cents. This chart is showing lucid, but I'm looking at the market maker box of Rivian here on the time and sales. We were at 50 cents. Someone just slammed the bid here all the way down, back down to 95. And here we are at 95, and EdgeX, NASDAQ, and ARK are stacked on 95 bid, and we don't have a seller pushing down yet. It's still 12-cent offer, so it's not a penny spread. Let's see what happens. And it bounces again. And we're back at 95 here on the bid, and there it is again. So now we're 95 by 01 again. So this battle is continuing here. Seller has stepped back down. It's a penny spread again. Again, Rivian doesn't typically trade in a 1 penny spread. So this is indicative of two forces meeting, testing each other out, seeing who has the bigger firepower, and who is going to be able to win this battle. So let's keep going. Again, bounces back at 95. Still 95 by 01, and look at the printing. So, okay, cat, you gotta move, bud. I love you, but you gotta move. So you can see the green here. This 01 in green is the seller holding. They're only advertising 100 shares. NASDAQ is only advertising 100 shares, but here we can count 100, 200, 300, 400, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900, 1100, 1200. So 1200 shares just went off, and this guy is just sitting at an advertised size of 100. In other words, this seller is refreshing. This seller has more than their 100 shares to sell and is just refreshing. They're just advertising 100, and they're just refreshing over and over and over. So that tells me that there is selling pressure here, because if there wasn't a refreshing offer when this 100 shares got bought up from NASDAQ, the next best offer would be 2 cents. But 2 cents is not the best offer. It's still 1 cent. And we're back down here at this battleground again. And every time the 95 bid gets smashed with these red prints here, that's the execution happening on the bid side. And 95, this bid is now dropping, and they're smashing them. There's tons of red 95 bids getting hit, and you see that it's just holding. So there's a little bit of size that came through, a couple thousand shares. More offers at 95, more red at 95, boom, boom, boom. And I mean, these guys are just refreshing as well. And here, this NASDAQ at 1 penny is still having advertising 100 shares. And here's a couple thousand more, 1,000 more or more shares that went off at 1 penny. So they're still refreshing at 1 cent. And the seller lifts. Seller lifts. And we popped a little bit, and coming back down here again, but spread returns to more than a penny. Let's go ahead and fast forward. Spread is still somewhat wide, and here we are again, 95 by 01. Back here again, battle's continuing. And here we have 300 shares on ARCA being advertised now at 1 cent, and the bid still has, what, 3,000 shares roughly being advertised, but a significant more amount is happening here. And on the footprint, you can see, well, it's kind of hard to see here in this video, but there's significantly more size being done here at this level. So let's go ahead and hit play. Still a penny spread here, and just tons of red. They're just hitting and hammering the bid, and this bid is not dropping. The bid keeps refreshing. More selling, more selling. NASDAQ showing a little more size on the bid as well. And just these two battling it out. Let's hit play. Still going. More selling into the 95 bid. And seller lifts. We get up to 10 cents on the offer. And let's fast forward when we get back here. Okay, here we come back again, and right here we get back down here to 95. They slam the bids. We have a hole by 5 cents, and let's see what happens here. And they're just hammering the bid there, and then the seller steps back down to 1 cent. Again, we're at 95 by 0.1s. So the back and forth, back and forth. A little bit of size coming in at the offer, not significant size, but more than the 100 shares. And right now 95 is only showing 100 advertising, but clearly is reloading because we just see tons of 95 bids coming over. Again, this buyer is willing to buy much more than they're advertising, because they're only advertising 100, and more, well over 100 shares has transacted between these two prices, and the price is not moving. So there's a battle of two strong participants here. And you can see all the red and the green at those two different prices. Just thousands and thousands of shares happening between these two, and the pace of tape speeding up. Quicker. Oh, and there goes the buyer wins, seller lifts on this, and the bid pops up to the 30s. Seller lifts, is not willing to sell down at a penny anymore. So just this back and forth here, and this 95 buyer is not willing to give up. So let me fast forward. And here we are back down here. And spread is still wider than a penny. And here we go, penny spread again. Oh, the seller lifted and is back higher. Let's fast forward. Here we are again. There's a 95 by 0.1s. Tons of size coming across. A bit of stacking here. Pace of tape is quick. Just lots of size. Lots of size coming in. And there's the drop. There's the drop. They took him out. They took out the 95 buyer. And notice how quickly the drop was. And one of the strategies that I use when I see this type of situation where it's tested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, especially on a stock like RIVN that can move because it has spread and it can move, there will be a liquidity vacuum underneath that 95, because not only are there stops at like 94 or 99 on the long side, but there's probably sell stops to enter positions. There's going to be a liquidity vacuum right below 95. So I actually have a cover. I'm short right now, and I have a cover at 38 cents. So well below where that battle is taking place. And what I'm hoping for is, if that 95 breaks, there will be such a liquidity vacuum. Price will quickly drop down to my bid and fill me there before snapping back up to retest that 95 level. Let's rewind the drop right here. Just rewound, and boom, there's the drop. And look how quickly we're down at 50 cents. And 50 cents drops, and boom, next liquidity vacuum down to 10 cents. I mean, look how quick, that was just a matter of seconds between battling at 95 and dropping out down to 94. So I hope that it's helpful for me to review this. This is just basic tape reading and understanding what type of either games can be played on the level 2, and what to look for on the time and sales, how to identify market participants who are refreshing, reloading, sometimes referred to as iceberg orders. But and then also how you can take advantage of these types of situations if you're already in a position and get some executions filled, orders filled on liquidity vacuums like we just saw here. So hope that was helpful.